Next Generation Mentality, presented by AI Audiobook. Next Generation Mentality is designed for entrepreneurs, creators, and forward thinkers who want to lead in a fast-changing, AI-powered world. Inside, you'll learn how to stay mentally sharp, emotionally strong, and strategically original, while others fall behind. If you want to think faster, lead smarter, and stay relevant in a world that never slows down, this is the mindset advantage you've been waiting for. Introduction. We are not just entering a new era, we are becoming a new kind of person. The pace of change around us isn't slowing down, it's accelerating. Technology is rewriting the rules of work, learning, relationships, and even identity. What used to take decades now happens in months. The systems we were taught to trust are being rebuilt in real time. In this kind of world, the most important upgrade is not in your tools, it's in your thinking. The next generation won't succeed by memorizing what worked yesterday. They will lead by thinking in ways the last generation never imagined. This book is about building that mentality, a mindset fit for the future, a way of thinking that's fast, flexible, and deeply human, even in a world increasingly shaped by machines. We've been trained to follow instructions, chase security, and seek permission. But those rules were designed for a different world. The next generation mentality doesn't wait. It observes, learns, adapts. It trades predictability for possibility. It questions assumptions. It doesn't break under pressure. It bends and reforms with new insight. This book is not just for the young. It's for anyone ready to think like the future, not just survive it. Entrepreneurs, creators, professionals, students, and leaders, what connects us now is not age, but mindset. And that mindset must be agile, curious, brave, and deeply aware of what matters most. You won't find recycled advice or outdated theories in these chapters. You'll find sharp, clear ideas to help you think faster, decide smarter, and grow stronger in a changing world. You'll learn how to lead with clarity when things are uncertain, how to stay grounded when everything moves fast, and how to build a mindset that doesn't just keep up, but gets ahead. The next decade will reward those who think differently. Those who can learn fast, move light, and act with bold clarity. That's what this book is here to help you become. Welcome to the next generation. Chapter 1, The End of Old Thinking. We were taught to think in straight lines, set a goal, make a plan, stick to the plan. That's how progress was defined, by discipline, repetition, and predictability. The old way of thinking was shaped by a world that moved slowly. You could study a career path, follow it step by step, and retire in the same field you started in. That world rewarded stability, obedience, and doing things the right way. But that world is gone. In its place is a world of constant change. New tools arrive before we've finished learning the last ones. Careers evolve in real time. Skills rise and fall in value within a single year. And the biggest opportunities come not to those who follow the old path, but to those who build a new one. Old thinking can't survive this new reality. It's too slow, too rigid, too obsessed with certainty. The future belongs to those who are comfortable with learning on the go, who adapt faster than they explain, who aren't afraid to shift direction, question the rules, or try something unproven. It's not chaos, it's clarity at a different speed. Old thinking tells you to become an expert before you start. New thinking tells you to start, learn, and evolve as you go. Old thinking waits for permission. New thinking moves and earns trust along the way. Old thinking sticks to what's safe. New thinking explores what's possible, even if it hasn't been done before. This shift is not just about speed, it's about identity. In the old model, your worth came from what you knew, how long you'd been doing it, and how consistent you were. In the new model, your value comes from how fast you grow, how well you connect, and how creatively you solve problems. Experience still matters, but only if it's paired with curiosity. This is why so many people feel stuck. They're using an outdated mental operating system to navigate a new world. They're trying to apply slow, linear logic to environments that move in loops and leaps. They're holding on to mindsets built for factory floors and corporate ladders, while the world now rewards collaboration, creativity, and speed. Letting go of old thinking doesn't mean abandoning wisdom. It means releasing what no longer serves you. It means upgrading the way you approach problems, people, and potential. It means moving from fixed to flexible, from controlling to creating, from proving yourself to improving yourself. You don't need to throw out everything you know, but you do need to question it. Ask, is this belief helping me grow or keeping me stuck? Is this way of thinking opening doors or building walls? The future isn't asking for perfection. It's asking for presence, for adaptability, for the kind of mentality that can thrive under pressure, not crack under it. Old thinking teaches us to fear failure, but the next generation mentality knows failure is data. Mistakes are momentum. And perfection is the enemy of progress. What matters most is movement. You don't have to know everything. You just have to keep showing up, keep adjusting, and keep thinking forward. That's the real end of old thinking, not when you change your opinions, but when you change your posture. From defensive to open, from hesitant to bold, from knowing to learning. Because in a world that's always changing, the smartest minds are not the ones with all the answers. They're the ones asking better questions, and that's where we begin. Chapter 2, From Fixed to Fluid. We've been trained to think in boxes, smart or not, talented or not, good with numbers, bad with people, creative, logical, introvert, extrovert. The labels might seem helpful, but over time they become cages. They shape how we see ourselves, how we show up, and what we even attempt. This is the danger of a fixed mindset. It tells us who we are and stops us from becoming more. But in a fast-moving world, fixed doesn't work. There's no room for standing still when everything around you is shifting. Growth is not optional. It's required. And that means your mindset must be fluid, not defined by what you've done before, but driven by what you're willing to learn next. A fixed mindset says, I'm just not good at that. A fluid mindset says, I'm not good at it yet. That single word, yet, is the difference between a static life and an evolving one. When you stop seeing your skills, traits, and intelligence as permanent, you open the door to reinvention. You stop waiting for permission and start shaping who you want to become. This doesn't mean denying your strengths. It means expanding them, stretching into new spaces, saying yes before you feel fully ready. It means becoming comfortable in motion, confident in transitions, and flexible with identity. The people who thrive in this era are not just experts in one thing. They're learners of many. They're adaptable, curious, and ready to pivot when needed. Fluid thinkers don't hold on tightly to titles or roles. They see themselves as evolving projects, not finished products. They may be designers today, community leaders tomorrow, and product creators next year. Their value doesn't come from their label. It comes from their ability to contribute, connect, and learn over and over again. This way of thinking creates freedom. You're no longer trapped by what others expect of you. You don't have to fit a mold. You can shift, stretch, grow. You can redefine what success looks like on your own terms. And the best part is, when you stop pretending you have to be one thing forever, you actually become better at all of it. Fluidity also changes how you deal with challenges. A fixed mindset sees problems as signs to stop. A fluid mindset sees them as signals to adapt. Instead of being crushed by failure, you use it. You treat it like a teacher. You ask, what can I learn? What can I do differently? How can this moment shape me into something stronger? And as AI, automation, and technology change the rules every year, the people who win won't be the ones who memorized the manual. They'll be the ones writing a new one. There'll be flexible thinkers, fast learners, and creative doers who are comfortable moving between roles, skills, and systems. They won't panic when things shift. They'll move with it because they've trained their mind to be water, not stone. You are not locked in. You are not done becoming. Your past doesn't get the final word. What you choose today can rewrite what you're known for tomorrow. That's the power of a fluid mindset. It turns possibility into action, fear into growth, and limitation into evolution. Because when your thinking is fluid, your potential has no edges. Chapter 3. Think like a creator, not a consumer. We live in a world designed to keep us consuming. Content, opinions, entertainment, products. There's always something new to scroll, watch, buy, or react to. The modern environment is built to feed you ideas instead of teaching you to generate your own. But if you want to lead, grow, and evolve in the next generation, you can't stay in passive mode. You have to flip the switch. Creators shape culture. Consumers follow it. The difference isn't talent, it's posture. A consumer waits to be moved. A creator moves first. A consumer needs permission. A creator gives themselves permission. This chapter is not about starting a YouTube channel or writing a book. It's about how you approach the world. Are you here to take it in or shape it? Next generation thinking starts with responsibility. You stop blaming what's broken and start asking, what can I build? You stop wishing for change and start becoming the change. You realize that the future doesn't belong to those who complain the best. It belongs to those who create solutions, stories, systems, movements, anything that didn't exist until they made it real. This mindset is how entrepreneurs thrive. It's how leaders inspire. It's how people with no resources build impossible outcomes. They stop scrolling for answers and start producing value. They don't just want information. They want transformation, and they're willing to be the first spark. You don't need a perfect plan to start creating. You just need the courage to be original in a world addicted to repeats. You have ideas inside you right now that could change how someone thinks, feels, or lives. But those ideas don't matter if you don't act on them. Every day you create something. Your habits, your energy, your attitude, your example. The only question is whether you're creating by design or by default. Thinking like a creator doesn't mean you ignore what others are doing. It means you observe with purpose. You study trends not to copy them, but to break them. You take inspiration, then go beyond it. You consume with the goal of output, not escape. Even your rest is different. You recharge not just to feel better, but to build better. This shift will challenge you. It's easier to consume. It's safer to blend in. Creation requires attention, discipline, and ownership. But it gives you something no algorithm ever will: meaning. You stop feeling stuck because you realize your next move is always in your hands. You stop envying others because you're too busy building something real. You become the kind of person others look to, not because you have all the answers, but because you have the courage to start creating your own. Because the future belongs to builders, to makers, to those who dare to shape the world with their ideas, not just react to the world as it is. So think like a creator, and don't wait for permission. Make your mark. Chapter 4. Train your inner voice. The loudest voice in your life is not out there. It's the one inside your head. The voice that speaks when no one's around. The voice that narrates your fears, doubts, hopes, and decisions. Most people never train that voice. They just inherit it. From parents, teachers, media, and painful moments. But if you don't train your inner voice, it trains you. Your mindset is built not just by what you believe, but by what you say to yourself. Every risk you take, every goal you pursue, every failure you rise from, those decisions are influenced by your internal dialogue. So if that voice is negative, small, or afraid, it becomes a ceiling. But if that voice is strong, kind, and focused, it becomes a compass. The next generation mentality starts by taking ownership of that voice. That means learning to separate truth from noise. Just because your mind says, "I'm not good enough," doesn't mean it's true. Just because you feel fear doesn't mean you're not ready. Thoughts are not commands, they're inputs. And if you want better outputs in your life, you need better mental inputs. Start by noticing the patterns. Do you criticize yourself for trying? Do you replay failures more than you celebrate progress? Do you talk to yourself with the same patience and encouragement you'd give a friend? If not, it's time to rewrite the script. This isn't about toxic positivity. It's not about pretending everything's fine. It's about teaching your mind to speak in alignment with your future, not your fear. When you catch yourself spiraling, pause. Ask, would I say this to someone I care about? If not, say something better. Not fake, just better. Because your inner voice sets the tone for everything else. It affects your energy, your confidence, your resilience. If it's constantly shaming, rushing, or doubting you, you'll never feel peace, even in success. But if it's calm, focused, and honest, you can endure setbacks without losing your center. Training your inner voice takes practice. You won't flip the switch overnight, but every time you speak to yourself with clarity and compassion, you're building a new mental muscle. You're building a mindset that's not just smart, but stable, and that's rare. In a noisy world, mental stability is a superpower. So the next time your thoughts try to keep you small, remember this: you are the one listening. You are also the one speaking, and the person you become is shaped by the words you choose inside your own mind. Train your voice. Speak like your future depends on it. because it does. Chapter 5. Resilience over comfort. Growth and comfort rarely live in the same place. Every breakthrough, every reinvention, every step toward your next level will ask you to let go of something comfortable, old habits, old fears, even old identities. That's the price of progress. And the people who are ready for the next generation of leadership, business, and personal evolution are not the ones chasing comfort. They're the ones who've trained for resilience. Resilience is not just about surviving pain, it's about building muscle through it. It's about becoming someone who doesn't break easily, not because life is easy, but because your mind has learned how to stand up, adjust, and keep moving. Comfort, on the other hand, is sneaky. It looks like safety, it feels like rest. But too much of it can trap you in cycles of delay, doubt, and distraction. The desire to avoid discomfort often blocks the exact experiences that would have made you stronger. You skip the workout, you delay the call, you stay in the job you hate. Not because you can't do better, but because comfort whispers, stay where it's familiar. But resilience speaks a different language. It says you've been through worse. It says this tension is temporary. It says keep going. It's part of the process. Resilience gives you permission to keep showing up even when the outcome is uncertain, even when you feel tired, even when you're not getting applause. You don't build that kind of resilience by reading about it. You build it in the moments where quitting feels easier, but you don't. When you decide to move forward even though fear is still in the room. When you fail and still come back with new eyes, new effort, and a deeper why. This is the kind of mindset the next generation needs. One that doesn't rely on smooth paths, but on strong roots. One that can thrive through change, navigate unknowns, and rise above delay or disappointment. In the future we're stepping into, it's not your comfort zone that will carry you forward. It's your capacity to bounce back, hold focus, and stay grounded under pressure. So stop asking, when will things get easier? And start asking, how can I get stronger? Because the people who make it are not the ones who avoid discomfort. They are the ones who outgrow it. They adapt, they endure, they rise. That's the kind of strength you carry with you into every challenge. That's resilience. And it's worth more than comfort ever was. Chapter 6. Think bigger, act smaller. The next generation mindset isn't just about thinking big, it's about executing small. Anyone can dream, anyone can talk about goals. But progress belongs to those who translate vision into action, and action into momentum. And ironically, the bigger your dream, the more important it is to start with something small. Thinking big expands your perspective. It pushes you beyond your current limitations. It helps you see what's possible, not just what's present. But big thinking without grounded action quickly turns into procrastination. It feels productive, but it's really just mental theater. You imagine the final stage, the big audience, the full product, but none of it moves unless you're willing to take the next tiny, imperfect, unseen step. This is where most people get stuck. They wait until they feel ready, until they have the full plan, until it's guaranteed to work. But clarity doesn't come before motion. It follows it. Action sharpens vision. Progress refines strategy. If you think you need more confidence, what you really need is a track record of small wins that prove to yourself you're actually doing it. Acting small doesn't mean thinking small. It means focusing your energy where it actually creates movement. It means building one part instead of overthinking the whole. Making one phone call, writing one page, solving one problem. You don't need to scale right now. You need to start, and you need to keep starting every day whether you feel like it or not. Big thinkers often fall into the trap of waiting for the perfect moment. But the people who actually bring bold visions to life are the ones who do something now. They break the vision down into bricks. They lay the foundation when no one's clapping. They trust that greatness is built in quiet, gritty consistency, not public inspiration. The next generation of entrepreneurs, creators, and leaders won't just be visionaries. They'll be builders. Not just thinkers, but doers. Not just dreamers, but finishers. Because in a noisy world full of grand plans and no follow-through, the person who executes wins. So yes, think bigger. Dream in high definition. Design a future worth chasing. But when it comes to today, act smaller. Move faster. Build something real. and keep stacking the kind of progress that compounds into transformation. Because it's not the loudest idea that changes your life, it's the one you had the courage to act on. Chapter 7: Discipline over Dopamine. In a world engineered for instant gratification, choosing discipline is an act of rebellion. Every scroll, every ping, every swipe is designed to reward your brain with dopamine, a quick hit of satisfaction that fades just as fast as it came. It feels like you're doing something, but in reality you're being distracted from doing what actually matters. Dopamine is addictive. It's not evil, it's part of being human. It's what drives us to pursue pleasure, complete goals, and seek approval. But when unmanaged, it becomes a trap. You start chasing the feeling, not the result. You bounce from idea to idea, task to task, never going deep enough to finish what you started. Your mind gets used to the high of novelty and forgets the value of mastery. Discipline works differently. It doesn't always feel good at first. It rarely gives you a rush. It's quiet, steady, unexciting, but it's the only path that leads to meaningful growth. Where dopamine is fast and fleeting, discipline is slow and compounding. It builds trust with yourself. It gives you the ability to delay pleasure for purpose, and over time it rewires your mind to enjoy what actually moves you forward, not just what entertains you. This is the shift the next generation must make, from attention to intention, from distraction to direction, from quick fixes to long-term focus. If you want to do anything great, build a business, write a book, get in shape, grow spiritually, raise a family, you will have to trade cheap dopamine for deep discipline. The algorithm isn't going to reward you for this. It won't cheer when you wake up early or stay consistent when no one is watching. But the rewards you're chasing won't come from your phone. They come from the identity you're building. Every time you show up when it's hard, you tell your mind, "This is who I am now." Not a consumer of noise, but a creator of value. And yes, this means choosing boredom sometimes. Sitting with your own thoughts, saying no to what feels good right now in order to say yes to something better later. It means unfollowing what drains you, restructuring your habits, and designing your environment to support your future, not sabotage it. This is not about being perfect, it's about being intentional. You can enjoy pleasure, just don't let it rule you. You can rest, just don't confuse rest with escape. You can scroll, just don't let the scroll swallow the hours meant for building your legacy. Discipline isn't punishment, it's protection. It guards your purpose from distraction. It builds mental toughness in a world that profits from your weakness. It gives you the space to grow into your full potential. And here's the truth. The most fulfilled people you know are not the ones with the most freedom. They're the ones with the most focus. So if you want to rise in this generation, don't just chase what feels good. Build what stays good. Prioritize the path that strengthens your mind. Choose structure over chaos. Choose commitment over comfort. Because dopamine fades, but discipline builds the future. Chapter 8: The Power of Personal Vision. In a fast-moving business world shaped by algorithms, automation, and global access, there is one internal asset that continues to separate leaders from followers: a clear personal vision. It's not a motivational phrase, it's not a wall poster, it's a strategic necessity. Your personal vision is your internal North Star. It aligns your business goals with your values. It shapes your decisions, filters your opportunities, and gives your energy direction when the world gets noisy. Without it, your focus drifts, your strategies dilute, and your brand becomes reactive rather than intentional. Too many entrepreneurs build from trends instead of purpose. They chase visibility without clarity. They pivot not because of strategy, but because of distraction. But the ones who lead, the ones who innovate and sustain, operate from vision. They move with a sense of direction that doesn't get shaken by market noise. In the AI era, external competition will only grow. The barriers to entry are lower, but so is the barrier to being copied. You can't compete by doing what everyone else is doing. You compete by knowing who you are, what you're building, and why it matters, before anyone else validates it. Vision protects you from short-term thinking. It gives context to failure. If a campaign doesn't work, you learn. You adjust. You stay grounded because your purpose goes beyond one tactic or one launch. That kind of long-term resilience is built, not born, and it starts with clarity. But personal vision is not about being rigid, it's about being anchored. It can evolve with insight, it can adapt with new information, but it never gets outsourced. You don't download it, you define it, you write it, you commit to it. And from there you build. Every major business decision, who to hire, what to launch, what to stop doing, becomes clearer when it aligns with your vision. It sharpens your leadership, it reduces wasted effort, and it gives your team something to believe in beyond tasks and metrics. This is especially critical in a future defined by speed and uncertainty. The world will continue to shift, but those shifts become less threatening when your direction is already set. You're not chasing clarity, you're executing from it. So take the time to write it down. Who are you becoming? What are you building? What kind of value do you want to create, not just for profit, but for impact? Don't settle for vague goals. Define a vision worth growing into, because when your inner vision is clear, your outer results become intentional. In the next generation of business, the ones who lead will not be the loudest. They'll be the most aligned. Chapter 9: Mental Energy Management. In business, most people talk about managing time, but in the age of endless input, constant updates, and AI-powered acceleration, your most valuable asset is not time, it's energy. More specifically, your ability to manage mental energy is now a core business skill. Because when everything is faster, when every day brings new tools, trends, and decisions, the person who protects their focus will outperform the one who simply works longer. Mental energy is the fuel that drives clarity, creativity, and leadership. It's what helps you make sound decisions, communicate with confidence, and stay resilient through change. When it's low, everything suffers. Your strategy, your relationships, your growth. But when it's strong, your thinking sharpens, your execution improves, and your vision becomes actionable. That's why top entrepreneurs aren't just managing calendars, they're managing inputs. They're protecting their mental bandwidth like a precious resource, because it is. You can't build the future when you're mentally exhausted from reacting to everything around you. In today's world, distractions are engineered to be addictive. Notifications, social feeds, constant updates, they all chip away at your focus. But what seems like a small loss of attention is actually a loss of direction. And in business, direction is everything. So how do you manage mental energy like a high-performance leader? First, build friction against distraction. That means structuring your environment to support focus. Remove digital clutter. Set boundaries on input. Batch decisions. Automate anything you don't need to touch twice. This is not about being rigid. It's about being intentional. Second, protect your decision-making capacity. The brain has limits. Every unnecessary choice drains energy from the ones that actually matter. Great leaders reduce friction by building systems, templates, and rhythms, so they can reserve their mental firepower for strategy and innovation. Third, prioritize deep work over busy work. AI can now handle much of the surface-level productivity. Your edge is in doing the work only a human can do, thinking critically, solving creatively, and leading thoughtfully. That kind of work demands attention, not multitasking. And finally, build recovery into your routine. Energy is not endless. The sharpest thinkers protect time for rest, reflection, and renewal. Not because they're lazy, but because they understand what sustainable performance looks like. In the next generation of business, burnout isn't just a personal risk, it's a business liability. It leads to poor decisions, shallow execution, and missed opportunities. But mental energy management flips the script. It keeps you calm under pressure, clear under complexity, and consistent in execution. It's not about working harder, it's about staying sharper. But don't just track your output. Protect your input. Guard your mind like you guard your money. Because in the AI-powered economy, your mental clarity is your greatest competitive advantage. Chapter 10: The Courage to be Original. In the past, business rewarded safety. Following best practices, copying proven models, minimizing risk, these were considered smart moves. But that age is ending. In a world shaped by AI and infinite content, being safe is now dangerous. The only brands, ideas, and leaders that stand out are the ones with the courage to be original. Originality is not just about creativity, it's about strategic boldness. It's the decision to build what hasn't been built, say what hasn't been said, and lead where others hesitate. It means choosing differentiation over duplication. And in this economy, differentiation is survival. AI tools are making it easier than ever to create, publish, and scale. That means more competition, more noise, and more sameness. Templates are everywhere. Generic messaging is everywhere. Safe ideas are everywhere. So if you're not bringing something bold, your business gets buried in the blur. Originality starts with ownership. You need to own your story, your voice, your values, not someone else's formula, not yesterday's playbook, but something distinctly yours. That's what creates emotional connection. That's what builds a real brand. People don't remember better. They remember different. But here's the truth. Originality takes guts. It's easier to follow than to lead, easier to mimic than to pioneer. When you choose to think differently, speak differently, or build differently, you will face resistance. You will feel exposed. You'll question yourself. But that discomfort is the proof that you're doing something no one else is doing. And that's exactly what the next generation of leadership requires. The entrepreneurs who shape the future are the ones who stop asking for permission. They launch products with a point of view. They speak in a tone that's unmistakably theirs. They ignore trends when those trends don't serve their mission. They don't chase attention. They create alignment. Original thinking also shows up in how you solve problems. AI can give you options, but only you can choose courageously. The most impactful decisions are rarely obvious or safe. They require vision, context, and the willingness to take a stand. This doesn't mean being loud just to be noticed. It means being real enough to resonate. Being bold enough to define your lane instead of renting someone else's. In a copy-paste world, authenticity is the edge. As the tools keep evolving, the businesses that win won't be the most polished, they'll be the most honest. As the competition grows fiercer, your clearest advantage will be your uniqueness. And as algorithms optimize everything, the market will still crave something human, brave, and true. So if you're building for the future, don't just ask, what works? Ask what's true to me. Then say it clearly. Build it boldly. Own it fully. Because in a world of duplication, originality is the only strategy with compound returns. Chapter 11. Thinking in systems, not silos. The most dangerous mistake in modern business isn't bad execution. It's disconnected thinking. In a fast-moving, tech-driven world, success no longer belongs to the people who do one thing well in isolation. It belongs to those who think in systems, who see the big picture, the chain reaction, the full ecosystem of how their choices ripple through time, technology, and people. Silo thinking is a relic of the industrial era. It separates marketing from product, operations from brand, people from data. It builds walls inside companies and limits visibility across teams. But in today's economy, those walls become blind spots, and blind spots become threats. System thinking, on the other hand, is about seeing relationships, not just results. It's about understanding how everything connects. Your strategy, your tools, your customer experience, your team culture, your market environment. Nothing operates in a vacuum anymore. Every decision touches something else. Every small shift can cascade into big consequences. For entrepreneurs and leaders, this way of thinking is not optional. It's the new baseline for intelligent growth. Whether you're launching a product, hiring a team, or scaling a business, you need to ask, how does this fit into the bigger system I'm building? If that system is fractured, your growth will stall. If that system is cohesive, your momentum compounds. AI is making systems more powerful and more visible. With the right data, you can map the customer journey end to end. You can track bottlenecks, find leaks, and optimize flows. But AI is only as effective as the system it serves. If your business is fragmented, automated tools will simply replicate the chaos faster. That's why modern strategy demands system-level clarity. It's not just about fixing problems when they show up. It's about designing processes that prevent the problems in the first place. It's about building businesses that don't just react, but adapt. Systems thinking also changes how you hire and lead. Instead of building departments that compete for resources, you build cross-functional teams that collaborate for results. Instead of micromanaging tasks, you build frameworks that empower outcomes. Instead of treating people as roles, you see them as nodes in a living network. with strengths, connections, and contributions that go beyond any job description. And perhaps most importantly, it changes how you view customers. No longer as one-time buyers or static demographics, but as participants in a larger relationship system. What you promise in your messaging must align with what you deliver in your product. What you automate must still feel human. What you build must evolve with real feedback, not assumptions. When you think in systems, you start to play the long game. You stop looking for hacks and start building engines. You stop chasing every new trend and start asking whether it fits your deeper architecture. You measure success not just by growth, but by coherence, resilience, and flow. This is how future-ready businesses operate, not in silos, but in synergy, with clarity across every layer, with alignment across every decision, with a mindset that doesn't just solve problems, but designs smarter systems from the start. Because in the AI age, your greatest competitive edge isn't just your product, it's how everything works together. Chapter 12, Becoming Future-Literate. The future is no longer a distant horizon. It's an active force shaping your choices today. In a world defined by rapid change, future literacy is not a luxury for innovators or futurists. It's a vital skill for anyone who wants to lead, build, or even stay relevant. Entrepreneurs who succeed in the next decade won't just react faster, they'll think further. Future literacy means being able to read signals, anticipate change, and design for what's coming next. It's the difference between being caught off guard and being early to the opportunity. It's the ability to interpret trends, map scenarios, and adapt with strategic vision instead of scrambling in panic. And like any literacy, it can be learned. In practical terms, future-literate thinking starts by widening your lens. Most people make decisions based on what's immediately visible, current market trends, customer feedback, or next month's goals. But next-generation leaders zoom out. They study emerging technologies, social movements, regulatory shifts, and cultural patterns. They look for what's rising, not just what's already arrived. This mindset requires curiosity over certainty. You must learn to question your assumptions, challenge what's normal, and stay open to signals that don't fit the current model. What seems irrelevant today may define your industry tomorrow. The best entrepreneurs are not just students of their niche, they are students of change itself. But seeing the future isn't enough. You need to build for it. That means creating flexible strategies, not fixed plans. It means investing in tools, skills, and systems that evolve. It means designing your business to grow through uncertainty, not just survive it. Being future-literate means preparing for multiple outcomes, not because you fear them, but because you're ready to lead through any of them. It also means getting good at timing. There is no reward for being early if your audience isn't ready, and there's no safety in waiting when your window has already passed. Future-literate leaders learn to act when momentum is building, not too soon, not too late. They calibrate their vision with reality, and they're disciplined enough to move when it matters. AI makes this even more urgent. The pace of innovation has accelerated beyond what traditional strategies can handle. Tools are evolving monthly. Expectations are changing in real time. In this climate, static thinking breaks quickly, but adaptive, future-aware thinking creates breakthroughs. And this doesn't just apply to products and marketing. It applies to how you hire, how you lead, how you structure your day, and how you define success. The future belongs to those who plan with insight and build with agility. You don't have to predict every shift perfectly, but you do have to train your mind to see them coming, to think across time, not just tasks, to build systems and stories that evolve. Because the entrepreneurs who shape the next era won't just react to the future. They'll read it, respect it, and rise to meet it. That's future literacy. Thank you for listening. In a world that's evolving fast, your greatest asset is how you think. Keep adapting, stay bold, and lead with clarity, not fear.